Today we're going to take a dive into the murky world of international drug trafficking. More particularly, we'll focus on the recent record-breaking seizure of cocaine in Ireland, which can trace its origins back to the notorious Clan Del Golfo in Colombia. This enormous seizure of cocaine, which weighs a total of 2.2 tons, has ties to the Gulf Clan Cartel. This is also where the Kinahan cartel comes in, with its extraordinary influence across Ireland. So let's talk about the cartels that are linked to the country's record-breaking cocaine haul, and the exciting details behind their operation. Before you can understand how big this operation is, you need to know what the Colombian gang does. They are the biggest producers and suppliers of cocaine in the world. Every month, they move about 20 tons of the drug across foreign borders. Clan Del Golfo, which has about 3,000 armed men, now controls the lands that Pablo Escobar and the Medellin cartel used to rule. They were formed from the remains of a right-wing militia group that had fought for the FARC rebel movement during Colombia's long civil war. Now, they are shockingly in charge of making 50 to 70% of Colombia's cocaine. A movement of protest has been going on in Colombia for a long time. The effects of this gang might not just be felt in the Americas, they might be felt all over the world. Their product is selling really well in Europe, and that market has become one of their most important ones because of it. There are strong ties between them and the leaders of many European drug gangs in this area. People who are involved in the drug trade have a complex web of ties and relationships with each other. This shows how global this illegal business is. Jobanes de Jesus Avila Villadiego, also known as Chiquito Malo, has been added to the official list of people who are subject to sanctions by the U.S. Treasury. By the way, the Clan Del Golfo is led by Chiquito Mal. The point of this action is to draw attention to how much attention is currently being paid to breaking up criminal networks around the world. The Clan Del Golfo strengthens its ties with several crime groups operating in Mexico, the Balkans, and Italy. These groups are led by Dairo Antonio Suga, who is also known as Oteniel. In May of 2022, Oteniel was arrested and sent to the United States. This was a terrible blow to the organization. In spite of this, his power and the cartel's business are still doing very well today. A big prize has been set up for information that leads to the arrest of Chiquito Malo as a sign of Colombia's dedication to the ongoing fight against these strong criminal groups. The Italian Camorra, the Irish Kinahan Mafia, the Tito and Dino gang from the Balkans, and the Dutch Mokro Mafia are all part of the European cocaine mega-cartel. This shows how deep and wide these drug crime groups' networks are. This criminal organization is responsible for distributing cocaine throughout Europe. The direct supply line that goes from Colombia, Ecuador, and Chile to Europe shows how complicated these activities can be and how they could end fatally. In order to get to Colombia, Ecuador, and Chile, it starts in Europe. The Balkan part of the big cartel is in charge of making this link possible. It is especially interesting that Daniel Kinahan helped combine these groups into a powerful company. The emergence of this company has caused Europe to have too much cocaine. This is because the merging has directly caused there to be too much cocaine in Europe. Because these drug gangs have a lot of money and a lot of contacts, they have become a strong contender in the global drug trade. In comparison to the 1980s when Pablo Escobar was caught, Oteniel's arrest was a huge victory for law enforcement in Colombia and around the world. When he was caught, Oteniel was the second most powerful drug lord in Colombia. There is still work being done by the Clan Del Golfo even after he was caught, and the plea deal he made in New York. In it, he admitted to trafficking almost 97,000 kilograms of cocaine and decided to give back $216 million in illegal proceeds. All these things happened in the city of New York. The fact that the group uses violent tactics like attacks, kidnappings, torture, killings, and campaigns against Colombian police and armed forces shows how bad the drug trade is. The Clan Del Golfo has been able to avoid being caught and keep up its illegal operations by always using shady methods and keeping in touch with many people fighting in Colombia's civil war. And this is still the case even though big rewards have been offered and law enforcement has worked hard to change this. Their successful search, which had been going on for 7 years and included a big operation in the northwest of Colombia, ended with Oteniel's capture in October of 2021. The ways that Clan Del Golfo runs its business are very involved and can be used in a lot of different situations. They buy coca leaves from a big part of the coca plants grown in Colombia. They do business out of Honduras, Costa Rica, and other countries that are on the way to the US and Europe. People think of both Antwerp and Rotterdam as very important ports because they are the main ways to enter and leave Europe. The cartel's use of whole shipping companies to transport drug cargo, and their unique way of telling the difference between different blocks of cocaine by stamping them with different designs, some of which include logos from well-known brands, shows how complicated their operations are. The record-breaking amount of cocaine that was found and seized in Ireland is just a small part of what the Clan Del Golfo, a drug gang that has become the biggest player in the international drug trade, does. A record amount of cocaine was found in Ireland. It was the work of the Clan Del Golfo. The huge number of members, complicated operations, and violent methods these strong criminal groups use show the constant problems that police all over the world face when they try to stop these groups. For similar content, don't forget to have a look at some of the other clips on your screen.